What's going on, guys? Your boy Fluff here. Today we're actually going to bring you guys a Season 12 starter guide. I know what you're thinking, Fluff. Season 12 is still probably months away. We actually don't have an official date yet announced for Season 12 start date, but we do know the starting set of Season 12, which is the trag'oul set. But without further ado, let's get into it. Quick note, guys, during this video we're going to play some Blood Mage gameplay for you guys above. This is with all Paragon removed besides movement speed, literally every point. It's with level 25 gems. We don't have a single piece of ancient or a single piece of gear augmented, period. Our sheet damage is like 500k. It's nothing. And we're running through T13. Just saying. So after I released the Blight build, and if you guys haven't checked that out, definitely give it a look. It is the Blight Spear Necro. If it makes it into the next season, it's going to be the fastest solo speed farm build in the game, period. So a lot of people were hyped that Pestilence might be the starting set for Season 12. But as it turns out, as you guys can see here, it will be the trag'oul's avatar set. Just real quick, you guys can see the rewards. You know, get this weird 6-wing looking thing and a holy looking portrait frame. But obviously the best seasonal reward, period, is just the stash space you get. But I would argue, even though the Pestilence is obviously going to be probably the best next season, assuming it doesn't get changed too much, that trag'oul's avatar is the best starting set for the Necro. And we're going to go into why in this video. So much so that just after getting the right pieces and the right slot and having some little crap level gems, you're actually going to be able to run T13 out of the box. And of all the builds for the Necromancer, the Blood Mage is by far and away the easiest to gear for, the most forgiving on stat priorities, and it's actually really easy to play as well. So I would argue that the trag'oul's is the absolute best choice for starting out. Right out of the gate, we're going to be able to do T12, T13 faster earlier in the season than we ever have before. So let's get into how we're going to do that. So the biggest tip we're going to give you guys is save your challenge rift. As soon as we know the start date of Season 12, make sure the week that Season 12 kicks off, you do not do the challenge rift. Save the challenge rift, guys. That is really important. Then once you create your seasonal character, you're going to go into your game settings, you're going to go over to challenge rift, you're going to start that up, and then you're going to go through and play whatever crap build Blizzard decided to share with the community that week. You're going to beat their time and you're going to get the rewards. Once it's done, you switch back over to the season character and you'll see a new email notification in the bottom left. You grab that and you get your sweet loot box. Now a lot of people would say save those blood shards, wait till you're level 70 and you can roll those shards on something you can use. But I would say spend them. Now as you guys know, a great way to get the Circle of Naluj Evil is to roll a level 1 Necro and start rolling rings. Because the only two legendaries that can drop for a level 1 Necro are Leoric Signet and Circle of Naluj Evil. Now, either of these will be really good while leveling. Obviously, Circle will give you double mage cast, which will make the skeletal mages a lot more powerful as you're leveling. And of course, Leoric Signet, you know, gives you more XP. Why not? So I would recommend, especially since trag'oul's is the starting set in Season 12, to roll some rings right out of the gate. You're only going to be able to roll a ring 6 times because they do, again, guys, cost 50 shards, and you'll have 300 from the chest. But you could get really, really lucky. Now, of course, this is RNG. If you don't get it, you know, maybe you'll get a decent ring that you can use later on. But on the off chance that you do get it, it's going to make your leveling process a lot faster. Plus, you'll have enough mats to cube the circle because of the challenge rift. So I would say gamble it. Risk it. Put it all on the line. Because if you can get a circle right out of the gate, it's going to make your leveling faster, and it's going to make you much more powerful once you hit 70. Now, another option would be to roll gloves. You would have 12 chances to get a Grasp of Essence, which will increase the damage of Corpse Explosion. Now, this I think would be a much better choice if maybe Anarius was our starting set, because we could get Corpsemancer ready to go out of the box. And Grasp of Essence will make the leveling process easier. Corpse Explosion is actually a really, really good skill to use while you level. But I think because the trag'oul's is the starting set, putting it all on the line for the circle ring is going to be the way to go. Now, as far as leveling from 1 to 70, guys, we're actually not going to really get too far into that. It's completely dynamic. Whatever drops you get along the way is going to determine what you're playing, what skills you're using. And what I mean by dynamic is, you know, say you get a Grasp of Essence to drop. Obviously, you're going to start running Corpse Explosion. Whether or not it's the best skill according to some 1 through 70 guide, you should be using it because you have Grasp of Essence. You know, and same thing with like, you know, Circle of Naluge Evil. If you find that, you should be running Skeletal Mages. So to make a 1 through 70 guide is a little silly in our head. But there's plenty of 1 through 70 guides out there. If, say, you don't find anything at all, legendary-wise, in your 1 through 70 process, then, you know, those guides would probably be a good thing to follow. But we're going to skip ahead to when you've hit 70, you've finished the Hadrig's Gift quest line, you have a full set of trag'ouls. So what's our goal? As soon as we hit 70, we're trying to build out the Blood Mage. And if you guys haven't checked out my Blood Mage guide on defense, definitely go give it a look. Currently, what's showing on the defense guide is what we're using for live, but on any of my builds, guys, if we think that they're going to be worth it in 2.6.1, if you scroll down in the description, we'll see a set of PTR changes, and that's what we're going to be going for, and those will change into the guide once 2.6.1 comes out. But this is what we're going to try to start gearing for out of the box. So as a fresh 70, one of the first things you're going to want to do is, if you have enough DBs and you have enough mats, you're going to come over here to the blacksmith and you're going to craft some one-hand scythes. So say we can do like 3, for example. And then we're coming over to the cube. We're going to pull up the recipe that says upgrade rare item. Again, guys, this costs about 25 DB per roll. And you're going to throw in one of these one-hand scythes. And this is called upgrading a rare item for you guys that don't know. And you say transmute. And this is going to give you a legendary one-hand scythe. Now this is OP for the Necro, because there are only 4 scythes in the Necro Scythe loot pool, which is Scythe of the Cycle, Jesseth, trag'oul's Corroded Fang, and the Funerary Pick. Now, the Funerary Pick kind of sucks, but the other 3 are amazing. We did one upgrade. We got Scythe of the Cycle, which is one of the best in-slot weapons for this build. We want to use it in the cube, but we really want to get a Jesseth as well. So we're going to keep going until we see him. And look at that. Boom. Second craft, we get the Jesseth Scythe. So just like that, after 2 crafts, we have the weapon we want to wear, and we have the weapon we want to cube. Now, after you have your scythe, your second goal is going to be to get the Jesseth Skull Shield as fast as you possibly can. Now, luckily for Necro, there's not a lot of shields in the loot pool for shields. So you can either roll shields with blood shards, or you could, of course, upgrade shields in the cube. And for us, you know, after the 3rd craft, we got the Jesseth Skull Shield. So boom, you have a Jesseth Skull Shield, you have your Jesseth Scythe, you've got Scythe of the Cycle in the cube, and hopefully, if you were lucky early on, you already have Circle of Naluge Evil in the cube as well. Now, at this point, if you don't have the Circle of Naluge Evil, this is where I might start, you know, farming up some blood shards, creating a second level 1 Necro, and then switching between your 2 seasonal characters to try to roll blood shards on that level 1 Necro to try to get the Circle of Naluge Evil. You want to get that ring as fast as you can, because it's going to increase your power level by a lot. So you've got your Jesseth set, you've got your Scythe of the Cycle, you've got your Circle of Naluge Evil. Your next priority is going to be to try to get the Tasker and Theo. Now, Tasker and Theo is a little on the rare side, so it might take a combination of you rolling gloves and upgrading gloves in the cube to try to get this item as fast as you can. Both are great ways to get the Tasker and Theo. After that, I would say, you know, the priority is to maybe get a legendary belt, preferably, you know, Dainty's Binding. It will give you more toughness, or even, you know, a Witching Hour would be really, really nice because more attack speed benefits the pets. But even something like a String of Ears or a Vigilant belt would work. But having that Dainty's Binding is really going to help you go further in Rift level, because it's basically your only form of actual mitigation. After that, I might start focusing rings. You know, you need a really good COE. You want a really good Crisbin Sentence. Hopefully, along the route of trying to get this other gear, you might have naturally gotten either a Crisbin Sentence or a COE. Now, a lot of this is going to depend on how lucky you are in that season. But if you still at this point don't have Crisbin, a COE, or even a level 70 circle, you might want to start upgrading rings in the cube. Now, this is going to be a really crappy way to get rings, because it's not a very good use of mats compared to, you know, some of the other recipes, because there are a lot of rings in the Necro loot pool. But having a Crisbin, having a COE, having the Circle of Naluge Evil are essential to you being able to just fly through T13. And then I say the last priority probably is to try to get a Wisdom of Kalan. Additional 30% toughness is really, really nice that the Kalan gives you. But again, hopefully along the way of trying to get all this other gear, you'll find a Wisdom of Kalan. And then kind of our last priority is to get a pair of Nemesis. Nemesis will speed up rift times, period. But as a fresh level 70, you can go kill Malthael. get the recipe for Reaper's Wraths. Craft yourself a pair of Reaper's Wraths. It's going to be almost just as good, just not quite as fast as having a pair of Nemesis. But it'll actually probably be a lot better for, you know, players that are maybe new to Necro that can't keep up the essence cost while running Blood Mage. Now, once you have the right items in the right places, and they don't necessarily even have to be rolled all that well, and you have, you know, the 3 gems that you need, which is Powerful, Enforcer, and Traps, leveled to say, you know, just level 25, you're going to be ready for T13, period. You know, last season we were ready for T13 in our first day of play by using the Blood Mage build, and we didn't even get the trag'oul set as our starting set. So this season, I imagine it would be even faster. Now, once you have your Blood Mage set going, I would shift back towards crafting one-hand scythes. There's really no point to ever stop upgrading one-hand scythes in the cube. You're always going to want a really good scythe of the cycle. You're always going to want a really good Jessuth, and you're always going to want a really good trag'oul's Corroded Fang. The trag'oul's Corroded Fang is going to be really good for builds like the Bloodlancer push build. It's going to be really good for Quartzmancer. The Jessuth is going to be really good for pushing with Rathma, or of course the Blood Mage build. And of course, Scythe of the Cycle is amazing for variations of the Rathma push build and for Singularity Speed Farm, which if you can get the Singularity Speed Farm together early on in the season, you're going to be flying through those Paragon levels. Now the Blood Mage is going to be really amazing early on, but the Singularity Speed Farm, guys, if you haven't checked out my Singularity Speed Farm video, guys, give that a look-see. It's amazing. If you can get that put together early in the season, it's going to be really fast. So I would say Blood Mage, and then you're going to have, you know, Singularity Speed Farm, and then next season, if Blight Spear makes it through, if Pestilence doesn't get nerfed, then it's going to be Blood Mage, Singularity Speed Farm, Blight Spear. But Blight Spear will be pretty hard to gear up. It requires a ton of CDR and a really well rolled Indiam. And another thing to note, we might redo the Blood Mage guide before Season 12 begins, but another variation of the Blood Mage that's going to be really good next season is to wear Ring of Royal Grandeur and put on the Steward's Grease, because the Steward's Grease will give you like amazing speed, as you guys can see, which makes Blood Mage one of the best speed farming builds for bounties in the game. You know, with this setup, you're going to be able to do T12, T13 bounties, no problem. And that's basically it. You guys will see it's going to be so easy to get going on a Necro next season. trag'ouls is the best starter set for Necro, period. Depending on how lucky you are with some of these drops, you're going to be flying through T13 on the first day, second day, faster than you probably ever have in the past. But hopefully this helps you guys out. This is definitely the strategy that we're going to execute early on next season, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, if you guys have any more questions, please comment in the section below, and we'll get to them as fast as we can. Of course, shout out to all our subscribers and donators. We really appreciate the juice you guys give. Helps us keep these videos going. And as always, guys, like, subscribe, come over to Twitch, ask your questions, support us on Patreon, whatever you're comfortable with. We love you guys. Peace out.